DUI dashcam. It's Thanksgiving night in Paradise, California. A flipped SUV sits in the middle of the road, glass scattered everywhere after a brutal crash. On site, Officer Patrick Feaster walks out, and as 26-year-old Andrew Thomas crawls from the driver's window dazed and unarmed, Feaster shoots him in the neck. Thomas collapses back into the SUV, legs hanging out of the broken window, while his 23-year-old passenger, Darian Ahorn, lies dead in the road where she was ejected. Still bound by duty, Feaster reports on the radio about a rollover involving a possible DUI driver, casually skipping out that he just pulled the trigger. Backup quickly arrives, and for nearly 11 minutes, Thomas gasps and fades in the background, but Feaster's more concerned about covering his tracks, scanning the scene for his bullet shell. Finally, Thomas manages to word out that he was shot, on which Feaster simply gaslights him, saying, "No, you're not." Yeah, right. It isn't until medics see how much blood is pooling under Thomas and a supervisor starts talking about checking the bar for a possible shooter that Feaster finally cracks and says he's had an AD.
I think I shot him. I wasn't even pointing at him. The gun did go off.
Oh my God, are you serious?
No.
Feaster pleads that he didn't intentionally shoot Thomas and wasn't even pointing at him. Thomas dies weeks later in the hospital, but the officer calls the shot accidental and refuses charges. However, once the dashcam footage goes viral on YouTube, public pressure forces prosecutors to take Feaster to trial. In the end, he's convicted of involuntary manslaughter, given 180 days in jail and probation, and fired from the department. Dry ice party. A video from February 2020 shows influencer Ekaterina Didenko at her birthday party at a Moscow spa. Two men are dragging a mysterious bag near the pool. The crowd cheers as 25 kilograms of dry ice is poured in. The water bubbles and a rolling white cloud forms over the pool, tempting more people to jump in, vanishing into a white blanket of CO2. Suddenly, the fun stops as everyone starts coughing, choking, and clawing for the edge. It's almost like they're suffocating. What a surprise. Even when some manage to haul halfway out, they just crumple back in or fall on the tiles. Realizing something's wrong, friends rush in, pulling out limp bodies while others call the ambulance. By the time help arrives, 3 guests are dead, and several more are in intensive care with CO2 poisoning and cold burns from touching the dry ice itself. Among the dead is Valentin, husband of the influencer, Ekaterina, who had helped plan the stunt. Hours later, she's filming herself crying in a hospital corridor, trying to explain to followers how her birthday surprise killed her own husband.
Вали больше нет с нами. Еще Наташа и Юра.
In the end, investigators opened a criminal negligence case for ignoring basic safety rules, but no one was punished. Please, folks, don't mess around with dangerous materials that you don't fully understand. Stuck on ropeway. On April 10th, 2022, this video showed 2 cable cars colliding, jamming the system and leaving more than 60 people stuck thousands of feet over a rocky gorge in Jharkhand. Terrified passengers wave and shout as minutes turn into hours with no movement. Despite operators' multiple attempts to restart the system, nothing works. Thus, the cabins just sway in the wind with no way for anyone to climb out. Rescuers on site first try local fixes from the ground below, using a narrow maintenance trolley and ropes to reach a few lower cabins and haul people off by hand, but the cars stranded high over the gorge are completely out of reach from any tower or hillside. Seeing no other option, the Indian Air Force is called in with Mi-17 helicopters. Garud commandos hang from winch cables, swinging level with the stuck cabins to pull people out one by one. But not all attempts go smooth. In at least 2 cabins, a passenger being winched away slips during the transfer, falling thousands of feet towards jagged, sharp rocks. After nearly 46 hours, the last stranded cabins are finally emptied. 3 people are dead, dozens are injured or shaken, and the ropeway that was supposed to be a scenic shortcut to Trikut Hills is now shut under investigation. Jharkhand High Court demands answers on why a ropeway that recently passed a safety audit could fail so badly. The investigation finds serious negligence in maintenance and operation, leading to the operator, Damodar Ropeways, who was eventually blacklisted for 5 years and fined about $1 million. An open carry state. On October 31st, 2015, Noah Harpham walks out of his Colorado Springs apartment with an AR-15 style rifle, a gun mainly used in As he paces toward the main road, his neighbor, Naomi Betties, spots him from the window. Terrified, she calls 911, her hands shaking as she feels Noah getting closer. When they finally respond, the dispatcher informs her that Colorado is an open carry state, so Noah could legally carry a weapon around in public. Feeling helpless, she cuts the phone, but only a minute later, she hears a shot. The dispatcher shortly receives another call with Naomi sobbing on the other side. Noah just shot a bicyclist, Andrew Myers, in the street, a 35-year-old Iraq war veteran and father of 2, dropping him beside his bike a few blocks from home. And he still wasn't done. The next moment, Noah approaches a rehabilitation center, shooting one woman on the porch and another who tries to come out the door. Both drop dead. Police shortly arrive and finally track him down, but Noah fires at their cruiser, shattering a window. However, he's quickly outnumbered. 4 officers return fire, killing him in the street near a Wendy's parking lot. Investigators were extremely confused as to what led him to do all of this, until they came across one video he posted just days before on YouTube. He had uploaded a video complaining that his dad's church, Bethel, was a mind control cult. Even his own mother testified, saying he had bipolar disorder, anger issues, and alcoholism. Those factors combined pointed to one thing. He killed those people randomly just because he was pissed at his daddy. The whole rampage took around 15 minutes, and 4 lives were lost forever. Red Lake Suitcase. In April 2019, the water level drops in a mine shaft near the Cypriot village of Mitsero, and workers find something they never should have seen: the rotting corpse of a foreign woman. Police lock down the area, and the body is identified as that of Mary Rose, who was reported missing with her 6-year-old daughter. Several foreign women had gone missing recently. Back at the station, Mary's friend points out that Mary had been seeing a man online named Orestes. When police trace the IP address of that Orestes ID, they reach the residence of 35-year-old National Guard Captain Nikos Metaxas. Seeing the cops, Metaxas rushes to destroy evidence by swallowing the SIM card right in front of them, but the police manage to confiscate it anyway. Once in custody, it only takes him 5 days to reveal that he hasn't just killed one woman. He's murdered 5 women and 2 children. All of them dumped randomly in a mine shaft, a fire range weld, and the Mitsero Red Lake. Thus, divers in hazmat-style gear and disaster teams scan the blood-red lake with sonar and find 3 suitcases at the bottom. When one is pulled out, it's filled with decomposed remains of another foreign woman. More suitcases come up, and each one holds a distinct victim. Migrant domestic workers, live-in housekeepers and caregivers, and 2 young daughters, all women and kids who had been reported missing. As news spreads, investigators dig into the story and find another weird lead, a 2017 travel vlog by YouTuber Sarah Funk, who visited this exact lake. And in her vlog, she's seen pointing toward a similar suitcase free-floating over the lake. Her partner jokes how this is what murder episodes are made of, having no clue that it could very well have been one. In the end, when asked why Metaxas killed the women and kids, he said he suspected them of selling their kids, so he punished the women and freed the kids. Thankfully, by June 2019, he had been handed 7 life sentences, the harshest punishment in Cyprus. Culiacan under siege. On October 17, 2019, families in Culiacan hit the floor of their living rooms as automatic gunfire cracks outside. One of them slowly gets up, goes near the curtain, and catches the chaos. That same afternoon, a small federal task force has quietly surrounded a house where Ovidio Lopez, the son of Sinaloa Cartel's top leader, was reported to be. After a few minutes, they manage to lure him out and arrest him immediately. Once word reaches Sinaloa Cartel's commanders, it leads to a massive fallout as they send 700 gunmen in pickup trucks toward the city to fight back. The convoy blocks roads with hijacked buses and trucks set on fire. They shoot into the streets and surround military housing where soldiers' families live. Within a few hours, Culiacan City has turned into a battlefield. As more forces try to move in, cartel gunmen take soldiers hostage and help trigger a mass escape at Aguarato prison, where dozens of inmates flee in the chaos. But that still was not enough, because the next moment they fired on a passenger plane and military aircraft to show they're willing to drag civilians straight into this fight if Ovidio is not released. Inside the house where he was taken, Ovidio sits on a couch with soldiers around him and is put on the phone to tell his people to stop. Since the odds were in their favor, the cartel didn't stop. At this point, officials knew that every extra minute means more civilians and soldiers getting hit. So, they make the call to release Ovidio and pull back to end the siege. By nightfall, as the shooting dies down and things slowly get under control, officials reveal that at least a dozen people are dead, leading to the operation being called off entirely. These videos were never meant for the public eye, but YouTube's darkest corners have a way of finding you, whether you're looking or not. If you want more, hit that subscribe button and check out our next video.